Okay, so the purpose of this first video is to show you how to install VirtualBox. VirtualBox is a piece of software from the Oracle Corporation that we will use to install and run virtual computers during the year. Installing virtual computers and running them will be good for us because it will let us do things like run computers that are using different operating systems and run multiple computers at the same time. Further, it will allow us to run virtual computers that we can attempt to do things that are very risky on. And that's a good thing because we don't want to do things like this on our real computers just in case something goes wrong. So if you go out to www.virtualbox.org, you'll see this nice big box that says Download VirtualBox 6.1 on it. And if you click on that, instead of getting a download starting right away, you get this wall of text, more or less. And if you haven't downloaded VirtualBox before, and if you're not familiar with the sort of lingo and jargon that goes along with virtualization, you might stare at this just for a little bit and not be exactly sure what to do. And I know that was the case with me, although it's been a good number of years ago when I first came to this page, and I don't want you to have that experience too. So let me just break this down a little bit for you. The easiest way to break this down is that all of this stuff right here, none of that matters. So the part you really want to pay attention to is the next bit, where they say that the 6.1.38 platform packages are available. That is the current version of the software. In the future, there might be a different version number there, but right now 6.1.38 is the current version. Now you'll notice that there are a number of links here, and you might wonder what this term host means. And the host in VirtualBox is the computer that's running VirtualBox. It's where you're going to install VirtualBox. They could have put down Windows installer, Mac OS installer, Linux installer, and so on, and it would have been a lot more clear. But I'll tell you, Oracle's just not into making things clear necessarily, although they do make really good software. So let's go ahead and click Windows Hosts, and that gets you to a download screen. It's about 100 meg, but I have a very good internet connection here, so that should come down pretty quickly. Yeah, there it is. So I'll go ahead and start the installer. And there's nothing special about this installer at all. In fact, it's a standard next, next, next sort of installation. You can just click through, and then you might notice, you probably would notice because of this red text, that there's a warning about network interfaces. But this warning isn't anything to be concerned about. It shows up every time you install VirtualBox, and all that they're saying is that because they're going to install a virtual network driver, they're basically not just a driver, a virtual network card actually. Um, your network connection might be temporarily disconnected, your real one. Now, I've installed VirtualBox probably 100 times, and I've never noticed this disconnection. So if it happens, it's really brief. Just don't worry about it at all. Just go ahead and click yes and keep going. And that will start the installer. And how long it takes will depend on how fast your computer is. That was a very fast install, and I think that it will probably take a little bit longer for most of you. But when it is done, it will offer to start itself with a little checkbox here. And I'll go ahead and let it do that. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is I happen to know that this will happen. It did start itself, but you can see down here that it didn't show itself. The icon is on my taskbar, but the interface is not showing. And just in case this happens to you, I don't want you to panic or be confused. Just go ahead and click the icon on the taskbar, and you can see that VirtualBox is running. So I'm going to end this video now, and then I will record another one that will show you how to install Linux inside VirtualBox.